Are you maximizing your distance off the tee? If you're not hitting up on your driver, the answer is no. But I have for you a really simple video, 2 little tips at setup, and a couple of great drills to encourage that upward angle of attack. Make sure you check out this video. So although that was going a little bit more left than I intended, let's just use it as a start point. Let's look at angle of attack, and this is a real vital part and a number I want to see. And I'm hoping I hit up on the ball in a positive number by quite a few degrees. That was up by 5.6 degrees. My path was good, the strike felt okay, so I just know I need that club face perhaps a little bit more open. But we can start with that point. What I got there was a very high launch and a very low spin. And that's what we really need to maximize our distance. So we do want to be striking up on the ball without adding too much dynamic loft to the golf club. So that is not having the club face excessively open or tilted back where we're adding too much angle. But what I'm really going to focus on today is this angle of attack. Now, without boring you too much, they did a robotic test and the robot was hitting at the same club head speed. Everything stayed the same, bar the angle of attack. And they tried 4 degrees down, 0 and 4 degrees up, and it made 40 yards of carry distance difference between the 4 degrees down and the 4 degrees up. So hitting up on the ball, hit the ball 40 yards further through the air than striking down on it. If you are hitting down, you are definitely losing out on some potential distance. So today's video is real simple. I'm going to give you a couple of checkpoints effectively at setup to make sure you're in the right position to strike up on it. And I'm going to just show you a couple of exercises that I think would work really well on the driving range or practice area to encourage that upward angle of attack. If you can get somewhere to measure it on a launch monitor, fantastic. But we're going to be able to tell a lot by the flight and the distance we get. So let me grab the ball and tee and talk you through my setup. The couple of things we've just got to make sure of, and they're simple points, and you may well have heard of them before, but perhaps you haven't thought about it recently, is one is that ball position far enough forward. So I like the ball with a driver to be opposite my lead heel. Okay, so I'm almost going to start feet together pointing at the club head. The club shaft's in the middle of my toes. I'm almost leaving my lead foot where it is. I might do a tiny step, but I'm doing a bigger step with my trail foot. All I'm really doing is turning my lead toe out. So the ball is opposite my lead heel, not opposite my toe because my foot is flared out to the target. Now this is unrelated to this video, but the reason we're flaring that foot out is really to encourage rotation, allow me to turn and stay in balance. So I'm just flaring that foot out. But I've got the ball way forwards, almost opposite my lead heel. Make sure that ball is far enough forwards. The second point I want you to do is make sure you are far enough behind the golf ball. Now we don't want to do that with our lower body, although the center of my pelvis is clearly behind the golf ball here unless I change it. But I get some golfers where they're trying to push their hips towards the target to tilt their upper body back. We don't want to be there. We're trying to tilt our upper body away from the target. So my trail shoulder sits lower than my lead shoulder at setup. And if you did measure it at all on some video software, we'd be looking for around 15 degrees, 12 degrees or so of shoulder tilt. Less with an iron, 8 to 10, with a driver upwards of 12. So even up to that sort of 15 degrees. If I was right downwind, I may even go more. But get that trail shoulder lower than the lead shoulder, not by changing your pelvis, but by just tilting with your upper body behind the golf ball. Now when you do that, that should help you set a little bit more pressure towards your trail foot. We'd like to be 55, 60% potentially on our back foot at setup. Now our pressure still has to go forwards, but this is about the setup position. So get that ball far enough forwards. Tilt your upper body behind the golf ball so your trail shoulder is lower than your lead shoulder by at least 12 degrees. That sets just a touch more pressure onto your back foot, your trail foot. And you should find that you're almost looking at the back of the golf ball, obviously not towards the top of the ball. So I'm almost looking at the back side of the golf ball here. And my swing thought is almost that I'm going to be striking the backside of the golf ball and an upward angle. Now that doesn't mean I'm swinging more to the right or more to the left. The club is still arcing, but I feel like the club is moving upwards as it gets to the golf ball. So let's see if I can just do that as setup again. Way forwards in my stance, and I'm going to show you the simple drills. Ball's way forwards. I'm tilting my upper body behind the golf ball, a little bit more pressure onto my trail foot, and I'm almost looking at the back of the golf ball here with my head. So you'll actually see I've got a little bit of head tilt as well, away from the target rather than my head this way. That can encourage me to hit up on the ball and may even encourage me to swing a little bit more from in to out. Let's see if I can, again, get that sort of positive 5 degrees or so on the way up. That felt really solid to me. Happy with the distance. Again, a bit left, not as left as the last one, but the speed that I generate around is picked up. Recently, I'm up to sort of 107, 108 average. I was maybe more down at 105. So I'm generating a little bit more club head speed than I perhaps was. 106, that one. But good distance. I flew that ball 264 to finish nearly 290. And that's very good distance for the speed I generate. And I do this because I do strike up on the ball a fair bit. That was 4.8, nearly 5 degrees again on the way up. I'm maximizing my distance. Now, the drills that I want you to do, the first one is going to be very, very simple. And this is something you can actually take to the course as a practice swing as well. But I'd encourage this sort of pre-shot when you're on the range. What I want you to do is I want you to get in your setup position. I want you to make a backswing. I want you to, before you hit the golf ball, get the club to touch the ground inside the golf ball. Okay, so it's somewhere between my toe line and the ball line, ball to target line. You can see it's closer to the ball to target line rather than my feet line, but it is just on the inside and way behind the golf ball, a good sort of 3 foot behind the golf ball. And I want to feel like I drag the club upwards, and that's getting me the feeling of that, not only the club moving upwards, but my lead side extending. So we're not going to get over technical, but our body should actually be moving upwards into the strike. Our hands reach their lowest point of the golf swing before we hit the golf ball. Our handle is moving upwards into impact. So I want to try and get the feeling that my body is extending. So I'm touching the ground behind the golf ball, dragging the club upwards, touching the club behind the golf ball, dragging the club upwards with that extension of my body. That's going to give me that feel I really want. And another exercise you can do, and you may have seen different versions of this, I generally place an object around 1.5 feet, 18 inches ahead of the golf ball. Now, this could be a head cover. This could be a tube of 3 golf balls where you're just placing them in front and you're trying to hit the ball and miss whatever the object is. Obviously, the higher the object, the closer the object is to the ball, the more it's going to encourage me to hit up on it. So I've just got one of my highest wave tees here, 1.5 feet, 18 inches ahead of the golf ball. So I'm trying to hit the ball and miss the top of that tee with an upward angle of attack. So it's just going to encourage that club to be moving upwards. Again, I'm going to get that feel of the club touching the ground behind the golf ball and my body extending into impact. Okay, let's hit one. That felt good. That one didn't overturn left. And actually that was not only my longest shot today, I think it's my longest shot all year. I haven't done anything fancy with the launch monitor here. It is just set bog standard. I promise you. I have carried that 281, which is really long for me. A little bit more club head speed, 109 club head speed, 156 ball speed. I hit up on the ball by 4 degrees, 3.9. So I think that that was 4, the others were 5, 5.5 on the way up, all of them on the way up, which is really helping me get this high launch, low spin. That was 14.7 degree launch angle, 1,850 revolutions of backspin. So I'm getting this high launch, low spin. It is going to be affected, of course, by where you strike the ball on the club, and you need to think about tee height. I would encourage you to look at strike, adjust the tee height accordingly. It's going to encourage me to hit more up on it when I use those higher tees, but try them in practice first of all and just see where you're most comfortable. Do look at that strike location to give you the feedback. If you can give those simple setup things, ball position, tilt, a go on the golf course, on the driving range, try the exercises, I know it's going to help you maximize your distance. So if you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up, share it with as many golfers as you can, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, at least 2 instructional videos a week. Right now, YouTube is suggesting the next video of mine that's relevant for you, and it's just here, so click on it and check it out.